Legend of Total War here, and today I'd like to attempt to clear my name about Total War Warhammer 3 DLC full content leaks. So this is a video that I made over a year ago, June 3rd, 2024. This is the gift that has kept on giving and has been a reputational stench that has followed me around to this day. It has basically turned me into a pariah. I can't go anywhere without this following me. I can't post anything on the forum, can't have anyone discuss me on the forum without this being brought up, which is understandable because I didn't provide any evidence. So it's not like people are spreading lies about me. They just don't know what I know, essentially. But I can't go anywhere without someone saying, oh, aren't you the guy that did the fake leaks that spreads misinformation? Why should we believe anything they have to say? Honestly, understandable. I didn't provide any evidence, and that was not the next DLC. But what actually ended up happening was that it was the planned DLC. Got enough evidence to prove it, in my opinion. And Creative Assembly pivoted. And I left a tiny little trap in this video, which Creative Assembly, hook, line, and sinker, fell for it. And the thing is with this little trap is that I had to wait a really long time before I could actually reveal the trap. But they totally fell for it, and I get to reveal it now. It's actually quite funny. But anyway, I do want to say, for those of you that have always believed me and had faith in me in terms of these leaks, despite the fact that I provided no evidence to it whatsoever, I greatly appreciate the faith that you had in me. Hopefully this vindicates the faith that you had in me. But yeah, this overall thing, a lot of people said that, you know, he just does this stuff for clicks, you know, because drama gets views. This did long-term damage to the channel, which really didn't properly recover from. So, and also, who would make up such ridiculous nonsense about the next DLC, truly? Like, if I was going to make something up, I'd make something that would at least be somewhat believable. You know, that'd be my thoughts. But yeah, what I'm trying to prove here is that I didn't make it up, and it was what was coming, and to try to restore my reputation as much as I possibly can, because in 2 months I'm going to leave the Total War community, and I would like it more if people had if I had a better reputation before I left. Like, I feel quite sad about the likely reputation that I'm going to have, which is that of like a disruptor, or like anarchist and fake leak spreader and all this kind of shit. And I'd like to try to clear the air with some of the stuff as much as possible, because basically with this, I did try to do what was best for the community with this, and I suffered the consequences for it. It is what it is. Anyway, so with this one here, I left a little trap in here, and it was deliberate, and it's so subtle, nobody's picked up on it. I don't think there's a single comment that mentioned it whatsoever. It had to be subtle in order to work, in order for Creative Assembly to basically fall for it. And now that enough time has passed, it's basically that they can't go back and just like rewrite history now. It's too late. They've left this in there for way too long. There's just, I got them on this one. But anyway, and it had to be just one thing, and had to be so subtle and too small, like too much of a coincidence to believe, like to give Creative Assembly the benefit of that, which most people will do. Some people will still do that, actually. But anyway, so I'm going to play this little bit of the video here, because this is where it is. It's just very subtle. Nobody picked up on it. Is going to be called, at this stage, the Lords of Shangyang. It includes 2 legendary lords, 1 legendary hero, 2 generic lords. Okay, let me just play that bit again for you, just in case you missed it, just from about here. At this stage, the Lords of Shangyang. It includes 2 legendary lords, 1 legendary hero, 1 legendary hero. Okay, so if you've watched this video, which I've never taken it down, despite there being plenty of comments saying this aged like milk, you should take this video down. No. Nope. This is where it doesn't age like milk. It's a fine wine that you have to wait a fucking year for, basically. It was very deliberate, and I planned it when I was making this video. There is one piece of content in all of these 3 leaks, 3 DLC leaks, that I did not elaborate on. That I mentioned that it existed, but I did not elaborate by name what it was. And that was the legendary hero for Lords of Shangyang. I mentioned by name the legendary lords, Mung the Brutal and Bashiva. I listed all of the names of the units. The reason why this is what I did. This is strategic. I firstly named firstly listed the content and then named the content, so that I could show that I knew that its existence existed all the way back then, without actually providing the name for it, because this is what I anticipated would happen. When I would do this leak, and if it was going to get Creative Assembly to pivot, which was the goal. So I'm happy they did that. But I knew that there was going to be ramifications for that I'd basically be left with my dick in my hand, egg on my face, looking like a fool, which is exactly what happened. So I had to leave a subtle enough get out of jail free card. And what I suspected would happen is that they would, Creative Assembly would go through this video here, and everything that I listed by name would make a list of it and purge it from the internet. So there was just no trace of it whatsoever. And they did that. I can't find anything anywhere about any of the content on here, except for one thing. The legendary hero for the Lords of Shangyang DLC, which I didn't name. And now I can prove that I knew it was a legendary hero for Lords of Shangyang all the way back then. And you can find out this information about it now because it's public information. It's been around for ages, but no one can connect the dots because I never connected the dots for them. I had to wait. Because the longer this thing goes on, the longer it's existed, the more credible it makes this leak. That's why I waited this long. Stupid it had to be this way, but it is what it is. Anyway, so if we go to the IMDb page, obviously you can see what I'm seeing here if you look at this title. The IMDb page for Total War Warhammer 3. I'll leave links to this in the description. You can just go look through this yourself if you don't believe me. So you go through and you can see that everything in here is stuff that is in the game. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong if there's any entries in here that are not currently in the game. But if we go down to the bottom, you can see that it says Teo Yan the Merciless, Rebecca Yeo. This has been on IMDb for more than a year. So on the Reddit, this came out on October 29th, so several months after the leak. I saw this, I bookmarked it, and I was like, it worked. The little subtle thing that I put in the video, it worked, and I'll just let this ferment for a little while. And now it's time to open up the keg and see what it reveals. But anyway, so all the way back then, nobody could connect the dots with it. That's for sure a Cathayan. Interesting. Teo Yan the Merciless. You've also can see here Gudmundur Thorvaldsson, Hero of Slaanesh 2. If we go over here, we can see Gormundur Thorvaldsson, Hero of Slaanesh Immortal Empires DLC voice. So obviously that one has been updated. But yeah, we can see here that the images kind of match. It looks a little bit different. But yeah, Teo Yan the Merciless there. Now, what I've shown so far doesn't prove anything. It just shows that Teo Yan the Merciless has been listed on IMDb for more than a year. Now the thing is, what characters are like added onto IMDb this far in advance, right? Maybe Teo Yan the Merciless will eventually be added into the game. Maybe. And maybe I could have waited until Teo Yan the Merciless was added into the game before doing this. But the problem is that I'm leaving in 2 months and I will not be around for that event to occur if it does happen. So I figured now is a good time as any. So we move on to the next stage, which is proving that I knew about it all the way back then. So if I bring up some images, there's also more forum posts as well. There's another one over here, so it wasn't the only one. So this one was also on October 29, going on about, Rebecca Yeo, Teo Yan the Merciless, all the way back then. And I think Teo Yan will be a tiger woman, right? And the thing is, I've got information that contradicts that. That's not actually correct. But anyway, so if we go here, this on its own isn't enough evidence, but this was basically the list that I was reading off when I was doing the video. So it was on my other monitor, and we've got Mung the Brutal there, Barshiva, Teo Yan the Merciless, Human, Tigerman, Ogre. So the way that I read this out was intentionally kind of confusing so that people would forget about the fact that I mentioned a legendary hero. So what I did was I firstly mentioned the Ogre Legendary Lord and then listed all the Ogre content. Then I listed the Tigerman content starting with the Legendary Lord and then listed all that. And then when that was done, I just didn't mention Teo Yan the Merciless and then just moved on to the next DLC. And because everyone was by that point already like, this is bullshit DLC, they didn't think about what I had omitted because of the way I had presented it. It's kind of dirty to do it this way, but it had to be so subtle in order for Creative Assembly to miss it, because if they picked up on it, then they would have purged it and I wouldn't get out of jail free card. If at any point they had removed Tao Yan the Merciless's post from the IMDb before the Reddit post got it, then I was fucked. I was stuck with a bad reputation forever with no way out, unless they've actually released the content, which they probably never will. I don't know. So what we had to do was I had to wait until the Reddit found it, bookmarked it, and then hope that they never bothered to actually remove it from the IMDb page, which they never did, and I never spoke about it between then and now, in order to basically not give them any incentive to do so. And the fact that I've spoken about it now is now too late for them to come in here and just remove this all of a sudden from it. It's just too late. They've left it here for way too long. I've fucking gotcha with all this. So then we've got this here. You will not find this information anywhere. I went and Googled to see if there was anything on any of this stuff here. Nope. So here we have Tao Yan, the only image that I think that you will ever find, at least at this stage, of what Tao Yan looks like. Now, it's obviously a very pixelated image. I've basically taken screenshots of a screenshot of a screenshot. It's very low res, but you get an idea of what she was supposed to look like. And it's, of course, next to other pieces of content that I did mention in the DLC. But we can see here, black hair, some sort of, like a sword and, I don't know, like a rake, I guess. But even though it's very pixelated, it does very clearly, not very clearly, but it does, you should be able to read that it says Tao Yan there. Okay, then the next thing is, because at this point here, I could have just hired an artist to go and like showcase that, like to go and draw that a year afterwards, and be like, see, I knew about it all along. So I need evidence, of course, that I was dealing with this image all the way before this. And luckily I did that. I've got multiple things that I could show, but I only really need one, I think. So in my Discord, I was discussing with various people who I've redacted from this, but this is a screenshot from one of my Discord logs. A screenshot that I took today. I could take another screenshot if I absolutely need to. It's in there, and it's dated 6th. So June 14, 2024, with this image here. And the thing is, I wanted to make sure that this was lower res than this one here. Basically, so I need to make sure this was higher res, because you can always make something lower res, but you can't make something higher res. So I could have just like taken a screenshot of this and just showed it there, and it would have been like, see? But what I've done is I've taken this screenshot here today from the original, from a much bigger piece of artwork. But yeah, this was all the way back then. So anything that I've redacted in here, this is unimportant information that talks about other people. I don't want to involve anyone else. I don't want to drag anyone else into this, which is why the person I'm talking to here is redacted. But things that don't reveal who they are falls in line with CA's art 100%. It's a point of like, you either believe it or you don't believe it. It's extremely low res. It's probably just concept art. They never published any of this stuff here. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that before the Reddit found this, but after I did this video here, I had discussions with people about the content all the way back then, and that Creative Assembly left Tao Yan the Merciless available for anyone to find. The tiny little hint has been there, and basically just needed for me to connect the dots. And it was, the little trap was set all the way back here by mentioning the legendary hero, but not mentioning it by name. And so hopefully with this, I hope, proven that the leaks were real, because, you know, it's in IMDb before it was caught by the Reddit, maybe even before it was on the Reddit, I don't know, before it was on the IMDb. And this is the big thing. It was the only piece of content that I omitted from that. Everything else, you can go through with a fine-tooth comb and try to find another piece of content that I mentioned, but then didn't elaborate on. Every single other thing should have been elaborated on, except for Tao Yan the Merciless. It's the only one that I left not discussed to hopefully leave myself a rope to pull out of this shit that I got myself into with this leak. And so with that, I hope just done with this shit, and hopefully people can stop saying that I spread fake leaks about this stuff. Hopefully that's enough evidence You know, because it's all the dates and stuff is there. Like I said, it took the screenshot of this one today, dates back to there. The only things that's edited is these here with redactions. It's not important, so don't want to drag anyone into it. I could take another screenshot and put today's date on here if I absolutely need to, sort of thing. Yeah, if a court calls me up to testify, whatever kind of burden of proof is needed, it's there basically, to prove that this was what was coming. Because another thing is that when I did this leak, the partner program basically shut down for like 2 weeks. I wasn't in the partner program there, but I was speaking to people in the partner program, and they just went silent for 2 weeks while they're, I guess, figuring out what to do with all this stuff. And during those 2 weeks, this is when this discussion would have happened with this person here while they were so this would have been before they had announced Omens of Destruction as well. But yeah, that's the smoking gun that I put in there. Hopefully that is convincing enough. I now finally got a chance to reveal that. I don't know what else more I could do. I feel like I've been about as thorough as I can. Like I said, it's only one thing, but if I had missed out on more things, people would have pointed it out. It would have meant more likely that Creative Assembly would have picked up on it and purged more stuff. It had to be so subtle that everyone missed it, in order for me to use this later down the track. To omit that Teo Yan the Merciless was the hidden piece of content in this that I never mentioned, and prove that it was always part of Total War Warhammer 3. So everything else got purged apart from this. I think that's more than a coincidence. It seems more like a correlation, because it was the one thing I didn't mention. Anyway, I'm not making this video to like get any hate on Creative Assembly, because honestly I expected this. Is why I anticipated it. This was to restore my reputation, not to burn theirs, because that's exactly what I would have expected them to do, is to pivot without leaving any trace of information about it, so that they could not look like absolute fools with the Lords of Shangyang DLC. But you know, the fact that to this day people still say that I'm a fake leaker and stuff, I got to protect my own reputation. And it's not like Creative Assembly has ever done anything to good faith towards me anyway. So it's like I gotta look after myself. But yeah, I would never do this again. This was so much more effort than it was worth. And in fact, I would say that just wasn't worth it in the end, because like Omens of Destruction, I think was better than what Lords of Shangyang was going to be. But I think in the long term for me, this was a bad call. So I regret doing it. I would never do it again. It was just too high of a price to pay. And because of what happened, I doubt that anybody else would ever be incentivized to try to get Creative Assembly to reverse course on a bad decision. And the thing is, you know that Creative Assembly is going to make bad decisions in the future, because they've just made another stupid decision with their with that bug not being fixed for such a long time. But you know, to each their own with their opinions with this kind of stuff. I've said my piece with it, and hopefully now I can stop getting bloody hounded by people calling me a bloody fake leaker. But anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.